What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Alright, this one was fun. I'm just gonna say it right now. I enjoyed watching this pay-per-view once again. All of it. Now, before we get into it, I just want to mention one thing. What do you guys want for the next video? I'm confused. You guys are saying Shelton Benjamin, MVP. Someone said Crime Time. What do you want? Whatever gets the most likes is probably going to be my next video, but you got to make it quick so I can start working on it tomorrow. Comment down below, what do you guys want? Jeff Hardy, CM Punk feud 2009, Legacy, what is it? Just comment it down below and I'll be sure to do whatever has the most likes. I don't care if it's Legacy, I don't care if it's freaking DX's 2006 run, just comment it down below. That's it. Right now, let's go back to 2009. I gotta set the stage for No Way Out 2009 and let you guys know what was going on in early 2009. WWE at this point was deep into the PG era. Yes, there were chair shots to the head and some blood, but the PG rating was being slowly implemented. The top guys were still there, and to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why I prefer this time period than to now. There were so many top stars. HBK, John Cena, Undertaker, Triple H, Edge, Chris Jericho, and they were all wrestling on a full-time basis. Like I said, that is the biggest thing that this era has over nowadays. Star power. Now, I will say though that a lot of stuff sucked during this time period. Now, Raw was decent at this point, and the brand would end up being destroyed at the draft, and SmackDown would take all their good superstars. SmackDown, on the other hand, was pretty good, at least to me. I didn't like Kozlov's run, but it ended quickly anyways. I still liked seeing guys like the Brian Kendrick, Shelton Benjamin, the mid-card guys, and don't even get me started on the main eventers. Jeff Hardy was just something special. ECW meanwhile was consistent, and this was the time period where Christian returned and competed on the brand. It was a weird return due to the circumstances, but at least Captain Charisma was back. Now, I just basically gave you a refresher as to how WWE was in early 2009. Right now, without a further ado, let's cover No Way Out 2009. No Way Out 2009 was held in the Key Arena, which was the Supersonics Arena. I'm sorry, I just had to mention that because it was during this time period. It was held in the Key Arena in Seattle, Washington on February 15, 2009. No Way Out 2009 had a buy rate of 272,000, which was down for the 329,000 of 2008. Damn. No Way Out 2008 had a monster buy rate. That's pretty good. The Key Arena had an attendance of 11,200 for No Way Out. The theme song for the event was Hunt You Down by Saliva. Right now, let's get into the event. The first match was an Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Edge defended his title against Jeff Hardy, Vladimir Kozlov, Big Show, Triple H, and The Undertaker. Each man had to qualify for the match except Jeff Hardy. Vicky Guerrero decided to give Hardy's rematch inside the chamber since he lost at the Royal Rumble. Kozlov, however, had already failed to qualify, but he ended up winning a Battle Royal to clinch a spot in the match. Now, everyone made their entrance normally, and it felt long, but one thing that was pretty memorable to me was during Triple H's entrance. He spat water onto Big Show, who was locked in the pod, and he was moving around, and he couldn't do anything about it. He was pissed. Edge came out as usual, and he was the one who started off the match against Hardy. Hardy hit some clotheslines, and the two traded the upper hand, but then Edge decided, why not wrap this one up for Hardy? He teased the spear and he walked straight into a small package. Edge failed to kick out and he was an ex-WWE champion. The Rated R superstar was shocked at the result, but he couldn't do anything about it. So he was gone. Hardy then got an ass kicking from both Vladimir Kozlov and the Big Show, but then Triple H and The Undertaker entered. It wasn't until Kozlov got eliminated that the match kicked up a notch. The Undertaker superplexed Big Show, and once he recovered, Triple H hit a pedigree on him. Then Jeff Hardy off the top of the pod hit a swanton to send Big Show to the showers after Triple H covered him. From there, it was fun. Triple H fell onto the steel twice. Jeff Hardy even jumped onto Triple H with the help of The Undertaker. And Hardy got eliminated after The Undertaker literally pulled Hardy from the outside to hit the Tombstone Piledriver on him. And there was two, The Undertaker and Triple H. These two had a fun mini-match that saw both men taste steel, and they both hit their signature moves on each other. The Undertaker even hit the Tombstone on Triple H, but his foot was on the bottom rope. Triple H then had a pedigree on The Undertaker, but it wasn't enough. The two traded right hands, and Triple H even managed to counter the last stride into a pedigree to become the new WWE Champion. It was such a fun matchup. Edge was blindsided and he got eliminated. Jeff Hardy was hitting some wild moves. Big Show and Vladimir Kozlov were kicking ass, and The Undertaker was dishing out some right hands. All in all, a great way to open the show, and it was the right choice due to what happened later that night. Backstage, Edge is complaining about what transpired to Vicky Guerrero. Guerrero couldn't do anything about it, and she even blamed Edge for the loss. Edge sat down in frustration, thinking that he ain't going to WrestleMania as champion. You guys obviously know what happened. Like, I'm not even gonna act stupid or anything like that. The next match is between Randy Orton and Shane McMahon in a no-holds-barred match. Basically, Shane's specialty. For me to talk about this one, let me give you a refresher. Randy Orton made himself an enemy to the McMahon family by punting Mr. McMahon. Orton then went on to win the Royal Rumble despite being unsure about his future. The following night, Randy begged Stephanie to fire him because if she did, then he'd sue the company. Stephanie thought that it would be too easy to fire Orton, and instead Shane McMahon came out and he proceeded to throw some of the most lethal right hands you'll ever see. Was Shane aiming for John Cena or something? I didn't even get it. Anyways, that's how this match was made. I didn't go into detail with it. That's in the Legacy video. Now, the match itself wasn't a world beater or anything like that, but it was enjoyable. As always, the two traded the advantage in the beginning of the match, and it wasn't until Shane whacked Orton with a kendo stick that the match switched gears. Shane even grabbed a monitor and he hit Orton with it. Due to Shane blasting Orton with the monitor, he bled profusely and it made Orton look evil. Shane then grabbed Orton and put him on the announce table looking to dive onto him, but Rhodes and DiBiase interfered and attacked him. The two were beating him up and everything, but then Shane managed to neutralize him. He then grabbed a garbage can and put it on Cody so it could hit the coast to coast. He hit it successfully and then decided to jump off the top rope onto Orton. He failed to connect with Orton because Orton moved out the way, and from there, the Viper had the upper hand. Orton told DiBiase to take Rhodes away from here, so Orton was all alone again. From there, the Viper hit a second rope DDT on Shane, but he kicked out 3 times. Since Shane kicked out, Orton decided to bring in a table. He was looking to suplex Shane and he successfully hit it. Shane kicked out again. Orton continued his assault on Shane and he even attempted the punt, but Shane tackled him. Shane O'Mac then grabbed a chair and used it on the Viper. Orton begged for mercy, but Shane wasn't having it. Once Shane knocked down Orton, he was looking to punt him. He was waiting for Orton to recover, and once he did, Shane walked straight into an RKO. Orton obviously won the match. It's an enjoyable match, and I thought it was a good stopgap for Orton before WrestleMania. I will say once again that this Orton looks menacing with blood on his face. Now, we all know how this feud turned out. The next match was for the ECW Championship. Jack Swagger defended the title against Finlay. Okay, Swagger was being pushed heavily at this point. They made him ECW champion after only 4 months on the main roster. Now, we all know about that night where Swagger called out Hornswoggle and Christian came out, but how did this feud transpire? On the January 27, 2009 episode of SmackDown, someone stole Jack Swagger's ECW title. He was planning on having a celebration, and you can't have the celebration without the title. After failing to find out who stole the title with Tiffany, Teddy Long, the ECW GM, came out at the end of the night, and he called for the person who stole the title to bring it down to the ring. Swagger begged Theodore Long to come out like a little kid, like it felt like something from elementary school, and Teddy Long even said that. Teddy Long then threatened the individual who stole the title. Finlay then came out and he said that he had an idea of who has Swagger's title. He then called for Hornswoggle to come out and there was the title. Swagger accused Finlay of being involved in this, and then Finlay said that if he wanted the title then he'll take it. Just as Hornswoggle was about to give Swagger the title, Jack Swagger shoved him. Finlay obviously didn't like this and he assaulted Swagger and he even whacked Jack with the ECW title to end the show. The following week, Jack Swagger and Finlay faced off. Finlay ended up winning that one with the help of Hornswoggle. This was also the first time Jack Swagger lost in WWE. Eventually, the match was made for No Way Out. Now, going into this pay-per-view, Swagger lost 2 weeks in a row. Once to Finlay and once to Christian. And about this match, I felt like it was just there. I didn't think it was bad, but it didn't feel good. The match was slow and Swagger was mostly targeting the arm. Near the end of the match, Hornswoggle stood on the apron and Swagger pushed Finlay right into him, which sent him to the outside. Swagger then grabbed Finlay and hit the gut-wrench powerbomb to retain his title. Overall, it was mostly a filler match for both the pay-per-view and Jack Swagger. I do think the ECW title should have been defended at WrestleMania. I mean, it was defended on every single pay-per-view in 2009 except Bragging Rights and Survivor Series, and that one was only due to Christian being in the Elimination match, so I believe it deserved a spot at WrestleMania. By the way, does anyone else think of SVR 2010 and 11 when they hear Swagger's song? The following match was between JBL and Shawn Michaels. It was high stakes, high rewards, because if HBK lost, then he has to work for JBL for the rest of his life. But if HBK wins, then he's free from JBL, and JBL is going to pay him for everything he owes him. Now, you guys know how this started. Shawn Michaels fell on hard times, and he became an employee of JBL's at Armageddon. Following that, Michaels was given the opportunity to become the #1 contender for the world title, but he decided to lay down for JBL. HBK lays down for absolutely nobody. I guess he broke that rule. Now, the reason why JBL hired Michaels is because he wanted Michaels to help him walk into his home state at WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion. At the Royal Rumble, Shawn Michaels superkicked JBL during his match with John Cena, and it looked like he cost him the title, but then he superkicked Cena too. He then grabbed JBL and put him on top of Cena. Once a ref ran down to the ring, Cena kicked out and he eventually retained the title. JBL didn't like this and he challenged HBK to a match at No Way Out. If JBL won, then he owns Michaels, but if HBK won, then he's free and JBL pays him every dime he owes him. I just said it. And that's how the match was made. Now, I didn't think this was a bad match. I mean, it was story-driven. JBL tried to get HBK to disqualify himself at one point, and Michaels during the match was basically fighting for his life. JBL had the advantage for most of the match, and HBK tried to hit the flying elbow at one point, but he failed in doing so. And throughout the match, it felt like JBL was on the brink of victory. Like, near the end of the match, it felt like JBL was going to win this one because the crowd was pretty quiet at one point. The Texas loudmouth hit 2 clotheslines from hell on HBK, but he decided to kick Michaels out of the ring and taunt his wife. Michaels, however, beat the 10 count, and JBL decided to throw HBK to the outside again. This time, he showed Michaels' wife what he did to her husband. He's grabbing him like this is what I did to him. And HBK suddenly recovered, and he delivered some right hands, and he eventually hit the flying elbow on him. He then tuned up the band, and Michaels hit the sweet chin music to win the match. Michaels was free. I don't think there was a single person in that arena that rooted for JBL. Like, why would you? Like I said, this was more story-driven, and it was about how Michaels found a way to free himself. It was about that. Right before the main event, Todd Grisham interviewed Chris Jericho. Jericho had that goatee look. He said that he's the best in the world at what he does, and he said that he's winning the title tonight. Jericho then said that he's challenging Ric Flair to a title match at WrestleMania, but then he took that back and guaranteed that he's winning the chamber match. Now, I felt like it was weird that Jericho feuded with the Legends at WrestleMania, but nonetheless, he was in a good spot. He was originally going to face Mickey Rourke, but plans changed. Like I said, he was in a better spot than 90% of the roster. And the main event, John Cena defends the World Heavyweight Championship in an Elimination Chamber match against Kane, Mike Knox, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, and Chris Jericho. All the guys came out normally, but when Kofi Kingston came out, Edge ambushed him. Edge from SmackDown grabbed a chair and he hit the concerto on Kingston, making him unable to compete that night. The Rated R Superstar then thought to himself, why not lock myself in a pod? Rey Mysterio came out and Kofi Kingston got some medical attention, and Rey then opened a part of the pod and he got a piece of Edge. For some reason, I just remember this moment in my head for some reason. At one point, Rey hit the chamber pod, and right when he hit it, Chris Jericho's pyro went off. I guess he initiated it. At this point, the commentary team was confused. They didn't know if Edge was going to compete in the match, or if no one's going to replace Kofi. They just had no idea what was going on. Anyways, Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio started off the match. Rey and Jericho had a fun 5 minutes before Kane came out. The most memorable spot for me during the opening minutes was when Rey hit a Hurricanrana from the top of the chamber. Once Kane entered, he dominated the match, and it took a codebreaker from Jericho and a seated senton from Rey, who was on top of a pod, to eliminate Kane. Same thing with Mike Knox, who entered next. He was causing chaos, but a codebreaker eliminated him. Edge then entered, but Rey attacked him right when the pod opened. Alright, this was when the match got real interesting. Rey was kicking Edge's ass, and he was about to eliminate Edge on 2 occasions, but Jericho knocked him down twice. The most memorable thing from this part of the match was when all 3 competitors performed a variation of a sunset flip. Jericho hit the sunset flip while Edge hit the German suplex on Rey. Edge recovered and he had the upper hand, but then the clock began ticking because his time is now. John Cena came out like those substitutes in FIFA. Like, they tear apart the defense and they're destroying everyone. That's what he reminded me of. He knocked down everyone he knew was on fire. Cena even hit the 5-knuckle shuffle on Edge, and it looked like Edge was on the brink of elimination. He then measured Edge for the 8-8 and he even grabbed him and he was about to hit it, but Jericho suddenly hit a codebreaker. Cena then conveniently fell onto the ropes and Rey hit the 619 on him. Edge then speared him and he was out. What the hell was that? John Cena getting eliminated like 2 minutes in? That's unheard of. Edge was completely shocked. That's my reaction when I get a win online. Like, look at him. This guy literally interfered. He knocked out Kofi Kingston and he took his spot, and he's the one who eliminated the champ. From there, Rey tried to hit the 619 on both men, but he only got Jericho. Rey was about to hit the sitting senton on Y2J, but he countered it into the walls. Rey decided to roll up Jericho, and he was out. And there was 2. The master of the 619 had everyone on his side. Like, they were chanting, Rey, Rey, Rey. Everyone was on his side. They didn't want that slimy Rated R Superstar to win the match. They had a very fun mini-match that had a few near falls in Rey's favor. Rey Mysterio mostly had the upper hand, but that would change when Edge threw him straight into a chamber pod. Edge then measured Rey for the spear, and he hit it to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. What a shocking turn of events. The Rated R Superstar started off the night as WWE Champion, and he was the first man eliminated in the SmackDown Chamber match, but then he ended the night as Champion, just not WWE Champion. It's so confusing. Edge celebrated as the new champ, and he even bit into the Chamber steel, which I think hurt one of his teeth. I'm not sure though. And that's it for this event. I felt like it was such a great event, and the ending with Edge winning the title just adds up to it. Like, it made the events much better. It was already fun in general. I thought it was a good idea to have Edge win the title so he could feud with Cena and Big Show. It was a good thing. Like, who was Cena gonna face if he didn't face Edge? There's only one man who I thought he could have faced at WrestleMania other than Edge. Chris Jericho, that's all. That's who I think could have faced John Cena at WrestleMania other than Edge or Randy Orton, who was already busy with Triple H. And that's it. I thought 2009 had a lot of good pay-per-views despite being a weak year. Like, 2009 had a lot of bad stuff like the guest host thing and stuff, but the pay-per-views were mostly good in my opinion. I felt like they were entertaining. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a code breaker on the like button and perhaps a spear on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.